Welcome back to our subject trends, networks, and critical thinking skills. So for today's lesson, we are going to tackle about understanding local networks. Last time we talked about under lesson one, we talked about the definition of trends, characteristics of trends, the definition of fad, and the differences between fad and a trend. So ngayon, there are also things that we have to discuss basically about networks, no? So from this lesson, we're going to understand everything about networks. But first, let us know first what is a network, no? In the definition, a network is a group of people whom we interact daily, and it happens each time we take an interest in school, getting together, visit from our religious gathering, chat with our neighbors, and interface with companions on the web. So, no, sabi dito sa network, so everything that we happen to meet outside, inside your home, you're in your family, in the school, or everywhere, these people are examples of networks, no? So a network could not just happen from in the internet alone, but it could also happen from our daily encounters. So from the people that we encounter in our daily life, these people are considered as networks. So this includes our family, companions, colleagues, and technology enhances the varied networks regardless of our location. So through the help of network, so tinutulungan tayo ng network to indulge more ourselves for networking to other people regardless of our location. So our networks help through the help of our technology unlocked different horizons. We were able to visit different places by not traveling. We're able to meet different people by not meeting them personally, no? So, sabi ni Brass in 1994 in the book page 42, networks are set of nodes and set of ties. So, dito from this illustration, this is a very concrete illustration. As you can see, there are different circles. No? These circles, we call this one as nodes. Ito mga circles na ito. We call this one as nodes. So sabi ni Brass, networks are set of nodes and set of ties. So itong nodes na ito, these different circles could be an example of an individual, a thing, a technology. It could be a group, a community, or an institution. No? So itong mga nodes na ito, these are connected to different nodes, no? The connections that we build or an organization build from different organizations are examples of what we call hubs, no? Hubs ang tawag sa kanila. Example, no, the Surigao del Sur State University has branches in different places like Tagbina, like in San Miguel, in Lianga. So these connections that they have from different places, these are called hubs. So example, ikaw, you know a specific person who's close to you, the connection between the two of you are called hubs, no? So notice these four dots that are colored blue, these are nodes that are connected to each other, no? So from each of them, they still have their own connections. This one, they have their own connections, no? These edges, itong edges na illustration dito, these are connections from a specific group or from a specific person, no? So meaning, example, magkakaroon ng isang movie at saka ang isang movie would be produced by the different producers like Viva Film. It could be from Star Cinema or it could be from Regal Film. So ito example, itong tatlong mga producers na ito, they're going to make a movie, and each production team will select different artists that will represent doon sa movie. So I hope it's clear, no? The things that are connected usually called nodes, no? Ito mga nodes na ito. and node might be a person, a computer, or even hyperlink text in a computer. You know, hyperlink is um, a text that contains content. Yung parang nag-underline, no? Examples of hyperlink is mga websites, no? The connection between hubs are called associations, and here and there are called edges. So awareness and concerning social media networks is important in the extent that people are uncertain who is connected to whom, no? We are very uncertain that who is connected to whom. So just like this one, itong mga different edges na ito, so mainly they also have different connections from the different edges of the different hubs, no? So it provides us the opportunity to interact with people outside of our social circle or inside of our social circle. So it's very vital to the entrepreneurs also, to the professionals, and to the job seekers. Bakit vital ito sa mga professionals, job seekers? Because this illustration would serve as a connection to whom you want to be connected with. Example na ikaw nga, example mga teachers, magpaparank for an item. So they have to also have their connections para, you know, they can get the item easily. This quotation, birds of same feather flocks together, is a common quotation that we usually hear, no? So our relationship are networked. True. They might have said this in references to the way others would judge us according to our friends or people who we interact every day. No? Birds of same feather flocks together. Example, kasi sometimes the type of people we surround and share our lives to have similarities with our values, with our traditions, that we network to them. No? Sometimes, itong mga tao nakakasalimuhan natin, these people have similar traits to us. That's why we are comfortable dealing with these people because there are traits that are similar to us. No? Example, you are lalaki ka, no? Lalaki ka, and then if you surround yourself with almost girlfriends, no, mga babaeng friends, so there will be a tendency na you would be girlish, no? Magiging lihok babae ka, or you could be a feminine type of a man. So maaaring magiging bakla ka. No, sometimes. Example, you happen to involve yourself to a group of friends who happen to use drugs. So you could also be a drug user, no? So you have to carefully choose who we go to with, no? Birds of the same feather flocks together. That's why sabi nila na ay ang mga barkada ana, mga ana. So there could be a big tendency that you might also happen to adopt the traits of your friends. So networks are analyzed in terms of, no, ang networks we analyze in different terms. So one term that we analyze a network is through the density. So density, ito na from the illustration, density talks about how compacted or concentrated a specific population is, no? So meaning, the more the population, the more the density, no? The density of inside the population has different good thing and different bad thing. Meron silang positivity at saka meron silang negativity. No, later we will discuss. So density also tells us how concentrated a crowded something is. The more the number, the more the density. So meaning inside the population, kung marami ang tao, denser yung population. Now what will happen if a population is denser? So sometimes if just look at China, no? China is the most populated country in the entire world, no? But look at their labor, look at their demand for work, look at their supply for their needs. So it's also increasing. So meaning the higher the density, the higher the population of a specific place is, there could also be a higher demand of the economic. Now, countries with higher population densities are likely to increase in specializations in industries. They more likely to produce different factories, different work demands, and supply for what they need in their life. No? Also, one factor that affects a population is hierarchy. So hierarchy is a common word, no? Hierarchy. So from the illustration itself, we can explain automatically what hierarchy is. So hierarchy is a ranking of position of a group or a people, no? The higher, so yung masusunod. That's hierarchy. So this could be the manager of in a workplace. These are the higher positions. These are the workers. No, these are the workers. So hierarchy is a system of organization in which people or groups are ranked one above another according to the status or authority. Hierarchy describes a system that organizes or ranks things often according to power or importance. So example, in our country, the most and the highest position is the president. So the president could be in the top part of the pyramid. Example, at school, no? At school, the principal is the top of the staff hierarchy. So, sa principal yung pinuno. So, also the teachers, sila naman yung mga implementers for instructions. And they are the ones who face battles inside the classroom. No? Ang principal, siya lang ang mag-a-assess whether the teachers are doing well. And if not, so the principal has the authority to terminate a worker. Ganon din sa different workplace and institutions. Now, example, in your family. Also, example, in your family, so the head in your family is your mother and your father. So, if you are not following what is your mother and father are saying, so you could have punishment. Di pwedeng ikaw ang magpapunish sa parents mo because they are in the higher authority or status. Diba? So, multiplexity. Multiplexity, so sabi sa multiplexity, complex in multiple ways. So, complicated siya in multiple ways. So, itong illustration na to, this is a concrete illustration to explain what is multiplexity. So, itong sa nodes na ito, itong tatlong nodes na ito, they are connected to each other. And each node has different connections. This one, they have different connections, no? Each of them. And also, out from their different connections, their connections that they are connected has also connections. This one, this blue dot, or this blue line, connects the different ties connected in each nodes. No, example, sa family nako, and example, sa letter A, si person A, saka si person B, saka ako, we have connections. Example, lumon kami, no? And they happen to have siblings, they happen to have a family member that also my family member knows. No, parang ganyan. So what is the advantage of this? How is this applicable? This is applicable probably in business, no? Why in business? Example, magkakaroon ng isang job hiring, no? Magkakaroon ng isang job hiring. And then after that, 'di ba sometimes in the culture of the Filipino, meron tayong backer system, no? The more the connections that we have, the more the chances we can get the work. That's the common culture, which is bad, no? Which happen to be not good kasi there are people who deeply suited to the job but happen not to qualify because they don't have connections. It's becoming a culture in the Philippines. No? So communicates two or more signals over a common channel, many and varied, having many features or form. I hope it's clear. Complexity also represents the extent to which two people are bound to each other in different social grounds or social groups. Interdependence. No? Itong interdependence naman, this means that there is a mutual dependence between things. So, inter means in between or between. So, example, the relationship that I have myself with, example, my girlfriend. So that mutual feeling, that's interdependence, no? Meaning parang when you happen to have to marry someone, magkakaroon kayo ng interdependence kasi parang there might be kulang sa'yo if mawawala siya or magiging kulang sa kanya if mawawala ka, no? So we often use the interdependence to describe the complex system. Example, marriage creates a state of interdependence between spouses. No? Example, in the illustration, yung dog sa kayong lalaki. If your dog provides you with love and happiness, and you provide your dog with food and walks, like bonding, so like bonding, love, and happiness, so then your relationship with your dog is one example of interdependence. Okay, I hope it's clear. Another thing is the embeddedness. Embeddedness talks about the degree to which economic activity is affected by non-economic institutions or factors. No? Example, the economic activity that we commonly experience before the pandemic has dramatically changed due to the COVID-19. No? From an economic interferences, there is a great change because of this non-economic interference, which is the virus. So it happened to change a lot, no? Nagkakaroon ng job loss, job mismatch, saka there are people who happen to be unemployed, no? To be sure, business associations themselves are held together by formal relationship, as well as by casual connections that interface individuals crosswise over departmental and progressive limits, no? Ang economic na apektuhan siya ng non-economic factors. So let's go to doing social analysis through network mapping. So analyzing networks in organizations or community exposes us to the myriads of power relations, connections, issues, and its problems. Making critical analysis of these networks or relationship enables us to obtain more complete picture of a social institution or phenomena. So why do we have to analyze our social relationship? So it's very important because through the connections of our neighbors, our peers, our classmates, our friends, it would create a big change. No? It would create a dimension that will affect us from our decision making, from our work, no, from our relationship from one person to another person. It would affect. You have to critically assess kung sino ang dapat makauban or makasalamuha, no, because they might affect your decision, they might affect your life, and they might also affect the relationship you have built to other person. Dalawa ang stages or dalawa ang categories ng social mapping, no? Or social mapping. The strategic thinking at saka the intuitive thinking. Kapag strategic thinker ang isang tao, so a strategic, from the word of strategic, you employ to have more strategy, no? You carefully analyze things before you do things. So strategic thinking is as an individual's capacity for thinking conceptually, imaginatively, systematically, opportunistically, with regards to the attainment of the success in the future. Kapag sinabi ng conceptual ang isang tao, a person could be abstract in using analogy to translate across contexts, no? Like, marami siyang masyadong kinukonsider before siya nagtitake ng actions. And also, if you're systematic, composed with the different components with an interference that will interact or to produce intended or emergent behavior. Pattern finding, pwede kang maghanap ng what are the ways and the means to attain a specific goal or success, no? Also, if you are imaginative, of course, you have to create visual, no? You have to create visual ahead of time that this one will happen if I will do this. Also, if you are opportunistic, so you tend to search for new information, you tend to seek for higher possibilities, so that's opportunistic. However, if you are only an intuitive thinker, when you say intuitive comes from the root word intuition. Intuition is something parang a common guts that we possess. Yung parang you have the feeling of happening this even though you have no basis. No, parang, ay, feel ko ganyan. Feel ko tama yan. That's intuition. Parang you merely rely on your feeling, no, of happening things. So that's why intuitive thinking is a quick, ready insight. It's a quick, ready insight. Far more than using common sense because it involves additional sensors to perceive and get aware of the information from outside. Sometimes, it is referred to as a gut feeling, sixth sense. So this is our sixth sense. Intuitive is our sixth sense. Inner sense, instinct, it could be our inner voice. What is your heart saying? What is your mind saying you about? It's our spiritual guide also, or etc. So actually, maraming tao ang naniniwala for their intuitions. No, that's why kapag sometimes you are hesitant with what you do or what to choose. Sometimes you just have to pick or choose using your intuition. So if your intuition would say no, take the action. If your feeling says no, don't take the action. There are things that you have to consider when you have to be an intuitive thinker. So these persons are known for their intuition. No? They are good in their intuition. So Albert Einstein is a good intuitive thinker. So sabi niya, the only real valuable thing is intuition. Kasi Albert Einstein happened to have meron kasi siyang disorder, but eventually he was a scientist and believed that his intuition has had great contributions in attaining his success. Also, this one, itong mga tao na ito like John Naisbitt. John Naisbitt is a businessman. So sabi niya, intuition becomes increasingly valuable in the new information society precisely because there is so much data. So from given that there are lots of options, there are a lot of things that we have to choose. So sabi niya, kailangan magkaroon ka rin ng intuition. You precisely have to have own perception or intuition. The next is Anne Wilson. Anne Wilson is a writer and a lecturer. Sabi ni Anne Wilson, trusting our intuition often save us from disaster or from danger. Kasi parang, ay, there's something bad about this, so I'm not gonna do this. It will save you from disaster. Now, sometimes you have to listen with your intuitions because your intuition will tell you what to do. No, they are your inner voice. So you also have to listen to your inner voice. So uncritical, selfish. So sa module ninyo, as you can see, meron tayong mga context that we have to read or we have to consider in order to understand the lesson. Uncritical, selfish, and fair-minded critical thinkers. So these are levels of critical thinkers that we consider to have practical contribution to learning. No, uncritical person are those who have not developed intellectual skills. Yeah, from the word itself, uncritical. This is a person who do not develop skills, a person who is naive. Naive is a person who happen to have less experience. No, a conformist, easily manipulated. Diba, if you're an uncritical person, masyado kang madaling maniwala sa sinasabi ng ibang tao because wala kay kaugalingong baruganan. And so also, a selfish critical is a person who is a skilled thinker, who do not genuinely values of critical thinking, person who uses intellectual skills of critical thinking skills effectively and self-deceptively to foster and serve their vested interests at the expense of truth. Ito naman, other level na ito siya, a person is critical but somehow selfish. Parang critical siya in a way pero di siya marunong tumanggap or gumamit ng opinion ng ibang tao kasi para sa kanya siya lang yung tama. So ang fair-minded naman is a critical person who is a skilled thinker who accepts and honor and values critical thinking. Ito yung mga taong tumatanggap ng opinion ng ibang tao. So they try to find and correct flaws of their own reasoning and to be scrupulously fair to those to whom they disagree. Like example, you correct a person and then a person could immediately change a specific behavior because sabi ng iba mali. They have to, kumukonsider sila ng perception ng ibang tao. So, ito mga elements of reasoning from Richard Paul and Linda Elder. So, all reasoning has a purpose, no? Sabi nila, all reasoning has a purpose. Of course, we do things, we reason out because we want to attain specific goal or purpose. Now, all reasoning is an attempt to figure something out, to settle some questions, to solve some problems. All reasoning is done from some points of view. Also, all reasoning is based on data, information, and evidence. All reasoning expressed through and shaped by concepts and ideas. And also, all reasoning contains inferences by which we draw conclusions and give meaning to the data. So sa module ninyo, as you can see, there is an activity there, activity 1. That's the only one activity that you're going to answer in your module 2. So from that illustration, we can cite there that there are 5 WH questions, no, that you have to fill in. So this is only an assessment of your learning from the lesson itself. No, ano ba ang na-learn mo sa lesson na ito? So what specific learning you attained in the lesson? Who is this learning coming from? Is this coming from the author of who is mentioned doon sa article? Where? If walang where, if this is not applicable, so leave it blank. Pwede wala, no? So when, pwede rin siyang not applicable. Depende, no? So there are instances that have to leave out the category blank because they are not applicable. And why? Why is it important? Why you learn from it? Why? And also why do you choose to pick this specific learning? Ano ang naging impact sa iyo na ito, ng learning na ito? So yan lang ang gagawin niyo for your module 2. And I hope that you're going to learn about or study about your lesson. And please read a lot so that you can share also doon sa comment section below what you wanted to share. And of course, leave questions, no? Please leave questions so that I can answer those questions next time. So probably I will be going to have another video to answer your questions. No? Thank you and have a wonderful day, and God bless everyone.